Now, hollow grinding, for those of you who don't know, is this. This is a hollow grind. Now that isn't complete. This is just what I've done before heat treating, but that is the bevel that's on the side of the knife, okay? It's called hollow grinding because we're doing it up against the round contact wheel that whenever we profile the knife and against that round wheel, we're gonna turn it and the wheel is gonna cut a concave groove into the knife. So that's why it's called hollow grinding, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and put some drawings up on here real fast. This is gonna be a side view of the blade, okay? Handle back here. This is going to be a front view of the blade, okay? So we're looking down the barrel of that thing, looking down the tip like this, okay? And what it does is just draw our bar in here. That's our bar of steel. And a hollow grind is going to be like this, okay? It's not exactly perfect, but you're getting the idea, okay? So, and this is going to be like this, right around through like that. Now you can pull this up higher, and I'm going to show you all this later on when we actually do it. You can pull it up way up here, but the height of how high you get this shoulder right here depends on the thickness of your steel, and it depends on the diameter of your wheel. I use a 10 inch, okay? Some people use 12, and they can use 6 inches, 8 inch, 12, 14, 18, they're going up. For the majority of my knives, I use a 10-inch wheel. That can only be brought up a certain height. If you start bringing it up way high, up like this, too high, then you're having to remove more steel in the center, and it'll get to where this right in here is so thin that you'll burn through, okay? So you can only take this up as high as the geometry will let you, okay? Now, what I do is whenever I'm making one, let me erase this a little bit more. Put the cap on that thing, there we go. What I do is I grind it to where it comes down thin and thickens up just a little bit right there at the edge. It'll get a little bit thinner and it'll get a little bit thicker right here. So this edge has a little bit of reinforcement. So if I come in and I get my folder that I made and I hold it up and I feel right in through here, it's a little bit thicker at the edge right there than it is just a little bit behind it. So it has a little bit reinforced edge. Now the difference between hollow grinding and other types of grinds is a Scandinavian grind is like this, and it's a shallow grind, okay? So it's going to come down and it's going to be like this, okay? Not going to come up nearly as high on those shoulders. It has more of a wedging type of penetration whenever you're cutting something, okay? A flat grind is basically just like a chisel, okay? Some people like a flat grind. It's up to you. It's whatever you want to do. But the thing is whenever you start sharpening this, you're going to take off a little bit of material every time, and it gets to where that can't be sharpened. On a hollow grind, like this, wish my hands didn't shake so much, like this, we can come in and remove more material more times, and you can get more sharpenings out of it. Okay, that's the reason why I like it. And some people swear by flat grind, some people swear by hollow grind. This is just what I learned on, and this is what I like. Now, a convex grind is like this, and it's rounded like that. So it's the opposite of a hollow grind that comes in. In a convex grind, I can't get them nearly as sharp as I can a hollow grind. You're not going to get as many sharpenings out of it, okay? So whenever you're grinding a hollow grind in a knife, you're basically cutting a channel. I'm just going to start over on my drawings here real quick. So here's our blade. And here's our hollow grind. Okay, like so. And we're cutting a channel down the middle of this. Okay, this is all one channel that's being cut out. Now, if you look at it from the front view again, you're going to see that this right in here is getting a little bit thinner and thinner and thinner, and then until right in through here. It's usually the thinnest point where I make it is right behind that edge, like I said earlier. Okay. Now, if you follow that thin channel, that's the thinnest part right in through there. If you follow it, excuse me, this is kind of the thickest part right along that reinforced edge. This is a little bit thinner right in through here. Okay, now if you follow this channel on a plane, it comes out and it's thinner right in through here. Now I'm going to explain this later on, but you will understand this whenever I'm grinding. So whenever you're grinding a knife, it's real easy to make it thin right in through here. Okay, because here's the cross section. It's thin right back in here. And if that goes straight through, then it's thin right out on that front edge. So we have to be real careful, because this can get really thick, and this can be normal or appropriate thickness, and that can be really thin. So that's something to watch out for whenever you're doing this, okay? Now, going back to different wheels. Different wheels, like I said, different diameters of wheel will give you different hollow grinds. If you want something, like here's our bar again, make it a little bit longer. If you use an 18-inch wheel or a 14-inch wheel, you can get it. I've known guys who use like a 22 or 26-inch wheel, just huge. What it's going to do is it's going to basically make it almost like a flat grind. It's just going to barely have any type of concavity. And you go into a smaller wheel, and it's going to have a little bit more and a little bit smaller, and it's going to be more. But one thing to think about is, what is the knife used for? You know, I'm not going to come in and make it really, really thin down in through here. If I'm going to make a chopper, okay, I'm going to leave it a little bit thicker. So that's why some people like flat grinds on buoys, okay? If you use a really big wheel on a buoy, then you can make it to where it's like a flat grind, and it's going to have a sturdier edge. There are a lot of different ways you can approach this, but we're going to go over to the grinder, and I'm going to show you all of this in action, and so you can see how this turns out. Okay, we'll do that here in a minute. But one more thing to think about is whenever you have a blade like this and you get about halfway up and stop, you need to make sure that it looks good. Okay, a lot of people will do a hollow grind, and it's not a Scandinavian grind. Scandinavian grind is that low profile one that follows the outline of the knife. Some people come up and do a hollow grind, and they'll stick it like that, or they'll have these your plunge cuts leaning backwards. You need to make sure these plunge cuts are straight up and down or a little bit forward. You don't want to lean those backward. That does not look good at all. Okay, so now we're going to go over to the grinder, and we're going to show you some different aspects of this.